ancient civilization, starting from somewhere in the 15th century, realized that wheeled vehicles were more efficient and needed less maintenance if they were guided using grooves cut into stone blocks of roads. Uh, Examples of such evidence, which we call in quote rail lines, used to guide chariots and wagons of the ancient Greek and Roman empires, can be seen today at ancient sites in modern day Greece and Italy. That was followed by the adoption of wheel flange, which was used to hold a pair of wheels on tracks, and subsequent use of man or horse-hauled wagons, which were widely used in mines across Europe. Then in the 17th century, we saw the earliest use of what we call wagonways. These wagonways were the tracks on which coal was carried from the pits where they were mined for their further development in the blast furnace and crucibles located in different locations in present-day United Kingdom. There are also altar paintings that can be found in Slovakian Cathedral of Rozvana, that is in the present-day Slovakia, which dates back as far as 1513. That includes miners pushing wagons. See, such murals gives us windows into the past to see what was happening, because the artists there and then, drew all what they saw. Iron ore miners in Slovakia mountains also use by making sorts of run tracks to run wagons with broad groove timber wheels. This is still in Slovakia. They made tracks of sorts to run wagons to carry the ore they mine. And these tracks had broad grooved timber wheels. Then eventually, the iron ore, some of them were converted into wheels to replace the timber wheels, which were wearing out very quickly. So in the 16th century, the wooden wheel was changed into iron wheels, and iron wheels were running on trimmed timber tracks. In 1801, a very significant invention was made by a gentleman called Richard Trevithick in Britain, and that was a steam-powered locomotive with roller wheels, and that was followed with the first practical railroad locomotive in 1841 with an invention by George Stephenson. Following George Stephenson's invention that made him win a competition set out by a businessman looking for an inventor to design some sort of mechanical thing to carry people from Liverpool to Manchester. So George Stephenson designing something which was able to achieve the set objective of carrying people from Liverpool to Manchester. So George won the competition in 1941, and his invention, is seen as the first practical railroad locomotive. In short, these are a few events that happened which led into the invention of what we call rail transport, from wagons made of wood with wooden wheels on wooden tracks, the wheels changing into iron wheels, and eventually Trevithick designing a road roller, which George Stephenson improved into a very practical rail, and that invention won a competition which later translated into rail transport. And that didn't stop there. It required some more engineers to, practically make it possible for the invention of George Stephenson to be run and carry human beings, carry goods as well. And engineers like Islamabad Brunei and other engineers who pioneered the tunneling of mountains and building bridges made it possible for rail to really come into light. Now, let us look at the physical elements of rail transport. All modes of transport have unique characteristics in their physical elements. And these physical elements include what we call the way. In the sense of rail transport, the way is the rail gauge. All transport have also what we call the carrying unit. And the carrying unit in this sense is the train, which is made up of the locomotive, the engine, and the wagons that carry the load or passengers. The third element of rail transport is the terminal, and the terminal is typically the railway station where activities take place, the loading and offloading of the trains take place. And then all modes of transport do also have what we call the motive power. In rail transport, we have three forms of motive power used. We have electricity, we also have diesel, and also coal that was used in the earlier trains. But in modern times, diesel locomotives and electric trains are what is fashionable and are most used across the world. So this picture or this slide shows the three different types of trains available. The first one on top left, which has smoke spewing up a tunnel, is what we call steam trains. They are called steam trains. And the fuel used in steam train or steel locomotives is coal. In the middle of the three pictures on top, you will also see a diesel locomotive. A diesel locomotive uses diesel as for the motive power. And on the right top, as well as the two below it, is what we call electric trains. The motive power is electricity. Electric trains use electricity for their motive power.